He's plumbing shirt on and headphones in, talking on the phone and stuff like that. But got a moment there where I just kind of took everything out, and the person sitting beside me, she said, "Hey, you wouldn't happen to be a plumber?" Obviously, I've got a plumbing shirt on. And I said, "No, I'm not, but my brother is, so I can give you his info." And I was like, "I'll just Instagram it to you. Like, I'll send you his profile because he's pretty active on it." So we pulled out our phones, and then I said, "What's your thing?" and typed it in, and we turned out to already be following each other. So I've been doing like kind of hyper local, following coffee shops and going in and liking, people that are following their profiles and stuff like that. And so it turns out we'd already been following each other. So we met. And then she says, "Hey, you know what? My mom's going to be thinking about selling sort of in the next 6 months. We want to learn more about that process." So now we're like, know who each other are. We've got them, in the system to make sure that we follow up and stuff like that. So super cool.
Nice, man. That's good. Good
That's
little
awesome.
follow-up system too. Good for you. Love it. Just gotta win. It doesn't have to be social media. I just thought maybe if you had one to share based on what we're gonna learn today, it'd be nice to hear. Who's got to win, guys? Who's got some good
I,
news? And I mean, we haven't been on here in
I
like a month, so there's got to be some good stuff going on.
I'm going to
So
be talking a lot, so I'm going to let other people talk.
Okay,
I guess I can share a little win.
sure.
I'm really not that great with social media. I'm still trying to figure that out and learn the ins and the outs of it. I do post, but I don't really think that I'm very effective. And just been trying to do a lot more like stories and that type of thing. But I boosted one of my reels last week, and my engagement count prior to that was just over 2.5, and I have it up in just 1 week with let me just double check here, which I don't even know if that's a big deal, but in a week I've reached almost 9,000 accounts
Oh,
from
Wow,
10,000
amazing.
in just a
That's
week.
amazing.
Huge.
that's fantastic. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice, awesome.
We're
Thanks
gonna
for
be
sharing.
we're gonna be going through some of that stuff too. So that's a good news. Yeah, social media, there's
Indeed.
a ton of power there, right? Like, um, I I have a listing appointment next Tuesday. That's literally just a few minutes after I posted a video. They sent me a message saying, "Hey, what's your phone number?" I gave them my phone number, even though they could have just called me from Instagram, but they still asked me for my number, sent the number, they called, they're like, "I want you to sell the house." And it's not, "Hey, I want you to interview with a million people." It was, I just saw your video. You've already proven yourself to me,
You're the
and
guy.
I want you to come sell it, right? So like there's a lot of power in social media if used effectively, which is again what we're going to be talking about today. So
That's very cool. I find too when I get business through Instagram, and it's quite a bit, especially if you're consistent on there. But they usually always do. They ask for your information when they can just directly reach out to you. So I don't know why do you think that is, Scott?
well, it's people are skipping, like just trying to skip steps, right?
Yeah,
Also see if you're going to respond, right? Like if they send you a message and you don't respond, then they don't want to work with you anyways, right?
good
So
point.
I probably would do the same thing, right? Like even though you can just call rather than you being the cold call to the realtor, like sending them a message so that they then need to respond to you. You can see how quick are they to respond, all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
being mindful of everyone else's time, I know you wanted to wait a bit just in case other people jumped on, but should I just start?
Yeah, man, kick it off. People keep coming in. You just
Yeah,
jumped in, and people will. I mean, I know people are busy and they're trying to watch the clock, but yeah, man, jump in. Tell us all about social media. We chatted a bit earlier about
yeah,
more so video around it too, which was interesting for me to listen to. And you and Spencer kind of geek out a little bit about what you're using and what you used to use, and
yeah.
what's the expensive equipment. But we're all here to
Technique
learn, and honestly,
junkies.
hopefully, we can take some tangible assets back
Yeah,
to into our business and apply to our business, and obviously generate some real estate transactions and listings through this. So thanks for on, Scotty. Take it away.
perfect. So this is going to be me talking through lots of concepts, me going through lots of actionable items. So if you're a note taker, where you like to write things down, write stuff down. If you want to type while I'm talking, go nuts. I'm going to go through lots of different things, but then also give you actionable steps to go through. So, welcome to building your realtor brand through social media. I'm Scott Henderson. Most people call me Scottie or Scottie, but I'm a realtor with EXP. And honestly, normally I'm speaking just to a camera alone. So this is really nice. I'm thrilled that you're taking the time out of your day, not just to be here and learn, but that you actually want to hear what I have to say. So thank you. Whenever I'm at one of these talks, I try to take away a couple nuggets. So hopefully today you can get a couple things that you can build right into your business right away. So what I'm going to cover today is I'm going to cover an intro into the mind of me. So you have context of where this information is coming from. I'm going to go through what is branding and why branding matters for realtors specifically. I'm going to help you develop your unique sales position, which is going to be really important for you to figure out your brand. Creating, building, and evolving your brand, because your first try at it might not land the way you think it's going to land, and you need to be able to evolve it. Next, I'm going to go through building trust, credibility, attracting clients. I'm also going to talk about authenticity, leveraging your brand through video and social media. I'm going to go through theoretical concepts from people that are way smarter than I am, standing out among tens of thousands of realtors. There's a lot of us, by the way. Brand strategies, creating engaging content. Does that sound good?
That sounds very good.
Sounds good. All right. So here's a quick background on me. We're going to go way back to the year 2002. Avril was on the radio, Eminem's feeding some teenage angst in my body, and Nickelback's crushing it. It's my final year of high school. Stop doing the quick math in your head. I'm choosing universities, and a Fortune 500 company actually offers me a full-time marketing position to do while I'm in university, as long as I go to the University of Waterloo. So being recruited out of high school to do like a sweet marketing job for a big company was really excited. So I obviously took them up on their offer, and that changed the trajectory of where I was going. But after about 2 years, I decided to start my own thing, an event marketing company with my best friend, who's happened to be Waterloo Region's favorite son, Alan Cayenne. And this created a conflict, so I had to make a choice. I had to choose whether or not to be betting on myself or the cushy sales job, that major company. So I chose betting on myself. And I spent a decade learning about marketing, putting on events, put on probably 1,000 events, got really involved in the community, became the director of marketing and oversaw the marketing for one of Canada's largest festivals. And the thing about events, though, is a lot of them were in the evenings, and I was coming home at 4 a.m. And the problem is my ultimate goal was to be the world's best dad. And that was not going to happen if I'm coming home at 4 a.m. every single night. So I pivoted. So what can I do? I was like, you know what? I know people, I know marketing. I'm going to get into real estate, houses. That's what I'm going to do. But guess what? I got into real estate. I became a realtor. I did absolutely no marketing, no branding, nothing. I used none of my expertise for 6 or 7 years. Then all of a sudden, something happened. It was my wife, but that's a longer story. She was like, you should do one thing from that you used to do, and it'll completely change your business. So I went back to what worked for me in my 20s, marketing and branding. And since then, I've been recognized by CBC, featured in newspapers, radio, social media outlets. I got a social media award from EXP for Canada, and I think I was like 3 months after joining the brokerage. So essentially, I'm an onion covered in 7-layer nacho dip, wrapped in baklava, buried in a pile of lasagna, and tucked inside a nesting doll. I've got a lot of layers, but we can talk about that another time. Today, we're going to talk about branding. So what is branding, and why does branding matter to realtors? This is why you're here. So think back to when you're younger. Do you remember the white polar bear or the Santa that Coke used and the catchy jingle growing up? And like whenever you saw Santa, you thought of Coke, right? I used to sing commercials for toys I wanted in school. And like, do you call tissues, like facial tissues, Kleenex, or do you call them facial tissues? Like Kleenex is the brand. That's some really, really good branding. And branding in real estate is about creating a unique identity that resonates with your target audience, setting you apart from other realtors, and influences buyers and sellers to contact you to be their realtor. Does that make sense? So ideally, you can create a brand that when your network thinks about real estate, you are immediately what they think about. That's the goal with branding. And the key elements to that are pens out, your unique selling position, your visual identity, your consistency, your messaging, authenticity, and your client experience. So branding matters because it differentiates you from the crowded market. And guess what? There is a lot of us. I heard there's like 70,000-ish realtors in Southwestern Ontario. That's a lot. So how do we stand out? Don't fact check me on that because I'm probably wrong, but it's a lot. So branding is going to build your trust and credibility, create an emotional connection with your clients, and that's branding. Now let's figure this out. Like let's figure out your unique sales position so you can start building a brand for yourself. Sounds good? Can I get a woohoo? Woohoo! All right.
Sounds very good, man. Thank you.
And you can hear me? So I'm using a professional camera up here. So I'm looking up here where my camera is. So I can't see the screen while I'm talking. So everyone's following along. Okay, perfect. So developing your unique sales position. So this is about what sets you apart from other realtors. What makes you an attractive option for them when deciding to buy or sell? What's your offer? So this is how I came up with mine. So this is what I encourage you to do.
I'm on a call. What's up?
Hi, Micah. Is that Micah? I'm on a call. What's up? All right. I asked myself these questions. What are my strengths and unique skills? What specific niche or market do I want to attract? What unique services do I offer that most others don't? What feedback do I consistently get from my clients? So what do they think my strengths are? What problems do I solve for my clients? Then I ask myself, what do I currently do that's at a higher level than an average realtor, right? Again, there's 70,000 of us. So what am I doing that's would be considered a strength among my peers? And then what can I learn or improve upon so I can do it better than the average realtor again, and add that to my unique sales position. So then write it all down and try to turn it into an elevator pitch. Okay, so you've written down, you've answered all those questions. Now try to turn that into 30 seconds to a minute and pitch it to your family and friends, even your top clients. Hey, like we had a great experience. I loved working with you. You were a great client. I think my value of a realtor is, cue your 1-minute pitch. Do you agree? Is there anything I should add? This helps you build what your brand can be from a unique sales perspective. It helps you be able to pitch yourself to potential clients in 30 seconds as well, because there's lots of times when someone's like, oh, you're a realtor. And you can just say, yeah, and this, right? Hammer them with the 30-second thing. And they're like, wow, I'm really impressed. So next is creating and building and evolving your brand. So take out your pen and write this down. Build your brand. You define your unique value. So this is why someone should hire you. And you need to believe it. Develop a visual identity. So this is when you've driven past billboards and seen things and you're like, oh, that's that realtor. Oh, that's that realtor. Or when you see a realtor online that's wearing neon, you're like, that's Scottie, right? If you see every realtor is branding themselves differently, but they have a visual identity. That's really important so that buyers and sellers can identify quickly. Figure out your clear messaging. What's my message, consistency, and make sure you're doing things over and over again, because a big part of branding is people seeing it multiple times. So for me, my messaging is things like active marketing. Marketing matters. Maximum exposure, maximum effort. I lent that one to Ryan Reynolds. It changed his life. Be authentic. The more authentic you are, the more you're going to attract people who want to work with you. Ensure exceptional client experiences. Honestly, I'm very client first. I think a lot of really successful realtors really care about their clients, because creating raving fans is the best thing you can do for your brand. Um, and honestly, by focusing on these principles, you can create and build a brand that you're going to be really proud of. So the other thing is, in general, you're going to build a brand and you're going to think it's perfect. Hopefully, unless you're self-deprecating or super sarcastic, like I am. But you need to be able to adapt. So I started my brand funny and educational. And I got mixed reviews. Realtors didn't like it originally, for sure. So this was 2018. I got a lot of negative comments from realtors, but clients and the public seemed to like it. So I evolved a little bit, tried upping the educational tone, toned down the funny a little bit. But then I got less exposure and people didn't really like it as much. So then I changed, I added some rhyming. I tried doing musical stuff. And eventually I settled into the brand that I am today. And even in general, like I would do bright, fun things in my videos, and they were elements of the video. But as I continued to evolve my brand, the finished product is now that I live and breathe my real estate brand. And like I'm all bright all the time because that's my brand. And what's great is when I go places, I'm recognizable from my brand online. So people will stop and talk to me and say, "Hey, I've seen your videos," or "Hey, how's the market?" And I'm like, "This is great that they're talking to me about real estate, just because they're recognizing me from a brand I created through video online." Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm getting some nodding. All right. So the other thing I will tell you is it's really easy to get caught up in, oh, this realtor's getting 10,000 views or 100,000 views or 2,000 views, and I'm getting 300 views. In general, I will tell you that some of my best videos that I've gotten the most clients on are my least performing videos online. They don't have the catchy hook. They're just me talking, me being real, and even though it only gets a fraction of my other views, people relate to it and I end up getting clients from it. So in general, just be authentic and you'll be fine. And I judge my social media and video presence and my branding online actually in person. So, and what I mean by that, if people are talking to me in person, so if I go to get my hair cut and there's people in there that are talking to me about my videos, I'm like, my branding's working, right? If I go for coffee and someone's like, "Hey, did you sell 210 Holly?" Right? Like, I'm like, "Oh, yep." And they're like, "Oh, that's great. You recognize the address. That means it's working." Cool? Cool. So next module, this would be module 5 of 11, building trust and credibility and attracting clients. So I've never made a cold call. I've never gone door knocking. I built my business on relationships and referrals for the first 7 years. I made enough to live, but I was definitely not a top producing realtor. I was an undercover agent. And then through Now I use video, social media, relationships, and referrals is how I do it. Social media is honestly, it's a free tool where you can build trust, credibility, attract clients. 100%. It's awesome if you use it right. And you can show that you know what you're talking about, right? By talking on video through social media. And you can do it for free. But as we heard, right, there's ways that Jennifer was talking earlier. She was saying she boosted a post. Some of you weren't on yet. She boosted a post last week. And, now her engagement rate went up by 4 times, right? So you can spend money and you can boost things. But in general, like just it can also be free. And you can show your credibility because you actually show that you're buying and selling homes, that you're an active agent that's doing business. And through video and social media branding, you can show your personality, which is something you can't do through billboards and buses. Now, I'm not saying billboards and buses aren't good. Those agents are doing a ton of business, and that branding is working for them for sure. And I'm not knocking that branding at all. Like but that is a completely different style of branding. Um, what I like about video is it literally shows who you are, and you can attract clients that are not choosing you because you're the name they see all the time, but they're choosing you because they feel like they know you, and you can build a strong social media brand and give your clients like create them into fans. And then your clients can actually point their referral. So, hey, you got to use my realtor. I know your cousin's uncle aunt is a realtor, but I think you'd like what Steph's doing. Here's Steph's Instagram. Like she knows her stuff. She's amazing. Then they can go on to Steph's Instagram, see her videos, and be like, wow, I relate to how she approaches things. And my favorite part about this one is the stronger your online presence is, meaning the more people who look at your stuff online are going to feel like they know you, and no longer are you interviewing against 8 agents for listings. You're not getting a call if people don't like you. That's the downside. So you don't have a shot to go up against the 8 agents. But if you brand yourself strongly enough online and people identify with you and your brand, they just call you to work with you. There is a side benefit, and it's something that I've definitely noticed since I switched into branding through social media. It's realtors start knowing who you are, and in today's market, that's very advantageous. So it's advantageous on offer days. It's advantageous on just offering in general. I find that people, when I'm talking to realtors, they feel like they know me, which is nice because the communication is typically a lot better than it used to be. So I've seen a huge difference there. So next we got authenticity. So I do not want you to leave this course mastermind and buy up all the neon and 80s looking stuff you can find. Like, don't try to be me because you're like, some guy was teaching me about branding. He was wearing neon. I'm going to wear neon. Be you, your authentic self. And now I know some people on here are probably saying, Scottie, I'm terrible on camera. I'm so awkward. I hate how I look. Heads up, sugar. I got love for you. It's probably how you come across to strangers or clients that you're meeting for the first time, if that's the case. So you need to make sure that you learn how to talk on camera if you want to do video for branding. And here's what I want you to do. This method is a foolproof method that will make you comfortable on camera. I was a shy little kid who had 3 friends and could not talk to anyone. I learned different skills to learn how to talk. And in general, if you follow this, you will be able to talk on camera and give your elevator pitch. So you have your 30-second or 1-minute elevator pitch for your unique sales position, why someone should hire you. You've already done that. Now you're going to use the best video camera you own. This might be a phone. Most people don't own cameras like I'm using right now. Most people are using iPhone, Samsung. That's fine. Whatever your best camera is, that's what you're going to use. And yeah, I'm a gearhead, but back to you. You're going to find the person who knows you the absolute most. So this is the person that knows your real smile, your real laugh, knows when you've got that twinkle in your eye, right? Like you're really smiling and, you know, talking about your feelings, getting deep. And this could be a partner, a best friend. Maybe it's you have a special relationship with a grandparent or a barista. Whoever you are the most comfortable with, though, and who knows you the best, you're going to hand them the camera and have them film you while you talk about your unique value proposition. But here's the kicker. You're not going to look at the lens. You're going to look at them in the eyes. This is step one of learning how to talk on camera. So you're going to be looking to that person that you care about, giving them eye contact. They know you, and you're going to pitch them that. Now you're going to watch it together. What's good? What's not right? What's authentically you? What's not? Were your eyes twinkling? Do it again. Once you've nailed it, switch from eye contact to pretending the lens is that person. You are most authentic when you're talking to people you care about. And if you can learn to make the lens right now, while I'm staring at this lens, I'm picturing my wife. Right? She knows me better than anything. Her face is right there. So it's how I'm talking to her. And the more you do it and the more you practice, because every video I made for myself, my wife originally would look at it and be like, this is not you. This is you. And especially when you're starting. So I launched into branding through real estate by filming like 50 thinking about real estate videos. It was my initial launch into video and branding through social media. And I probably posted around 50% of the ones I filmed because 25-ish of them, she felt like weren't authentically me. She was like, you sound like a sales guy. Nope, you're not smiling. Nope, that was boring. Hated it. I wouldn't hire you. She was my biggest critic and she knows me better than anyone. So she just, you know, and as you go, eventually you don't need them to critique every single one, just the ones maybe you're not sure of, but they're going to be able to tell you whether or not you're authentic. Is that good information? Does that help?
Love that.
Santos, are you still with me? Nice. You're looking good today. I like that smile. There we go. So next we got leveraging our brand through social media. This is the 7th of 11. We're getting there. What time is it? 12:30. Okay, we're good. So we've talked about building trust, credibility, your unique sales position, authenticity. Now, how do we leverage this through social media, especially through video? So you can go after anyone for clients, right? Everyone needs housing. But ideally, you want to identify a target audience. Experiment with platforms because what works for you might be different than what works for me. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's LinkedIn. Be authentic and consistent and engage with your audience, create a community, and play around with it. Find out what works for you and your audience. And when someone feels like they know you because you're being authentic, you're going to attract like the type of people that want to work with you. And you're no longer, oh, that's a realtor, that's a salesperson, right? You all of a sudden become somebody that can help them in real estate, help them achieve what they want. So now I've given you a lot of my kind of views on things. There's way smarter people than me. And there's some theoretical concepts that I live by and that kind of shape why I do things a certain way. The people that know me well know I don't read very often. Hi, Alan. But I do listen to books, so that counts as reading. And one of my favorite books to listen to was Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and it talks about like the power and mechanics of like rapid cognition, exploring like how our subconscious mind makes quick and accurate judgments based on like hardly any information. And he calls it thin slicing. So the downside of this is a lot of times the judgments have potential biases, but I think the concept is great because knowing this concept knows that people are going to make a decision about you almost instantaneously, right? So this goes for your brand, this goes for your videos and everything you're going to make and put out there. So you've got a split second to make a good impression. And if you've watched any person talk about reels or getting views on social media, they talk about the first 3 to 5 seconds of a video. And it's a hook that makes someone decide whether or not they're going to watch more or just keep scrolling. So here's a couple things that might help you kind of understand more about branding. And I'm not sure if anybody listened to Simon Sinek. Anyone heard any of his stuff? So he's the golden circle guy, the start with why guy. And so one way to look at it is, and what he talks about is that this is your brand's heart and soul, right? So this is
Lost your
like
video, Scotty. Sorry.
What?
Lost your video there. Your video turned off. Just turn it back on.
Okay. Boop, boop, boop.
Just lost it. It's all good.
Hello? Is it me you're
There we
looking
go.
for?
You're back, baby.
What was I talking about? Oh, branding being your heart and soul, right?
Yeah.
Was that where I was?
Simon Sinek, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in general, right? Like the why is the heart and soul of what you do, right? So why you do what you do. Think of it as your mission, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning and makes your clients be like, "Wow, I love this realtor. I love how they do this," or "I love how they do business. I love who they are." Next is the how. So these are your secret sauce, your special moves, what makes you different, and how you bring your why to life. So this is show your unique methods and values and what sets you apart from the rest. And next is the what, the grand papa. Like this is what you actually offer, your products, your services, the cool stuff that your brand delivers. Because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That's the best part. So not just about, with the awesome services as a realtor, but the passion and the purpose behind what makes the customers fall in love with you and your clients fall in love with you and your brand. He also talks about aligning your team. And I'm pretty sure it was the great philosopher Micah Sadler that said that your vibe attracts your tribe. And in general, your team should be your brand's biggest fans. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be on a real estate team. What I mean is your team, the people that believe in you and the people that are, helping you with your business. So make sure they're all on board with your why and excited to spread the word, because the best branding is the people that love what you're doing, putting it out there for you. So next, I'm going to go with standing out amongst tens of thousands of realtors and the brand strategies. I'm going to put them together because I think this is a lot easier to kind of understand if they're together. So you need to start choosing how you're going to stand out. And it starts with your unique sales position, which we went through. What are you good at? What are you trying to build? But part of how you can stand out is choosing your brand archetype. So you've heard of archetypes in stories like the hero, the villain, all those things. But here's some archetypes you could go after in real estate. You can go after the expert. So that would be brand positioning like you're the real estate genius who knows everything about the market, from the latest trends to the best deals in town. Um, you could do educational content, creating video blogs, video series, Ask the Expert, where you share like real estate tips and tricks and really try to showcase that you know things that other people don't. Um, you do workshops, real estate 101s, invite people out, uh, do things like how to buy homes in your 20s, showcasing your expertise, highlight your certifications, your awards, flaunt your awards like a peacock showing off their feathers. It's lots like this is something that I would say a lot of realtors try to do. But it definitely creates credibility because people know that you're an expert. So I try to use elements of this. This is not my main one, but I definitely focus on educational content so that people know I know what I'm talking about. The next archetype that I love is the neighborhood mayor. So this is brand positioning like the social butterfly who knows everyone and everything about the local community, cares about the community. Some strategies here for video would be to post daily on social media about hottest local spots, hidden gems, best pizza, coolest park, best place to get sweet treats. Hi, Alan. Community involvements, um, become a regular at social and local events, meet your neighbor barbecues, things like that, right? So remembering everyone's birthdays, favorite coffee, what they drink, dog's name, being that neighborhood friendly person, right? So you could create a video series where you're interviewing local business owners, community leaders, talking about the community and build your brand that way. Are you following? Yes. All right. So the next archetype is the archetype that I really focus on. I tie in probably 10 different archetypes into my branding, but this is the one that I personally rally behind. And it's the marketing magician. So this is where you focus on your marketing, and how everyone's going to know that your home's for sale. Strategies with this is high quality, engaging listing videos, tons of views, maximum exposure, professional marketing with photography, 3D tours, drones, everything to make it look the best online and advertise. Things like this, the campaigns I do are, fun, quirky, engaging, try to get as many views and eyeballs as possible and showcase how many people can actually view a house. And again, this is the one I like for me because that's my background. My background's marketing. So it makes sense that I lean into that archetype, but it doesn't mean it's the best one to lean into. So some people that are going to watch my videos are going to be like, I don't understand why he's doing that. So they don't understand why I'm marketing the way I am to get as much exposure as possible. And I'm not going to get those people as clients. They're not going to relate to me, but it's the one that relates the most to my personality. So it's the one that works the best for me. So that's why when you're choosing kind of an archetype, you want to choose something that fits your personality type. So the fourth one is the client advocate. So this is where you're positioning yourself as the most client focused realtor dedicating to provide exceptional service, going above and beyond. You're doing client testimonials, you're sharing success stories, you're building trust and credibility through your clients. And you you're tailoring your services to meet each client's needs. You're staying in touch with clients after the sale. You're building your brand. You're really focusing on the relationships and having them try to build your business with you. Referrals, repeat business. This is one you're going to be doing lots of events. You're going to be doing lots of client-focused activities, pop buys, things like that. The next brand is the lifestyle specialist. This is good for definitely for people that want to be in a specific type of market. So, so you're trying to match kind of the lifestyle of your clients with your marketing. So this is like creating content that highlights different aspects of homes and neighborhoods. Could be walkability, parks, amenities, features, all that fun stuff. And you're trying to align your personal brand with specific lifestyle. So like luxury, eco-friendly, family-oriented, resonating with your target audience. So themed videos around lifestyle. If you want to get into luxury, there's lots of luxury courses out there that you can take that know luxury better than I do. But in general, from a branding perspective, like if your videos scream luxury lifestyle, that's going to attract luxury clients. If your videos scream, I only do $400,000 condos, then that's the branding and the type of clients that you're going to bring in. So you need to choose how you want to develop your brand. Does all that make sense?
Yeah, I think that from what I'm hearing and what I'm kind of seeing out there is I think there's lots of people that are somewhat good at consistent marketing towards their consumer, their client, their prospect, whatever, kind of trying to boil the ocean. So they're not sticking to one kind of common theme
Yeah.
like you're describing right now. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So in general, what I'm trying to say is for your branding though, like the problem with being too all over the place is that you're nothing, right? So like you're nothing specific. So you need to have something that people think of you for, right? So if you think about your market and you think about like the luxury realtors, for example, that do most of the luxury listings, it's because the people think of them as luxury, right? So
Right.
it's not because they're doing necessarily things that are different than you. They might not be doing the same level of video as you. They might not be doing the same level of marketing as you. Whatever, we don't know, but people are thinking of them, right? So other I can think of a brokerage locally that I even think of when I think of condos. Like I'm like, oh, condos, that's them, right? So they've done a really good job building that brand. But in general, like I think you need to create a strong brand in one archetype, ideally, and then sprinkle in the others, right? So, and those are only a few. Like you could be a new build specialist, you could be a first-time home buyer specialist, but in general, picking something that you really want to be the expert in and you want people to think of. And again, if you go back to that blink concept, like what are people thinking the second they see your name or see your content, right?
Right.
Like, and that's what we're trying to do with the branding. So the last part, oh, good. It's a 12:40. Oh, good. So the last part is engaging content and creating engaging content. And again, this goes back to not trying to be something you're not. You heard what I said about authenticity. And you can create content that honestly gets 100 views, but if it's good content and it resonates with someone, you can actually get a client out of that. So I released a video that got substantially less views, like way less views than what I normally get. And it was long form content, super long video, but it was my whole sales process. And I've gotten 2 listings from that video. Like There were people that had met with other people, and they decided to hire me from that video before meeting me, which was awesome. And they told me that, which is nice. And it's great when people tell you in person why they hired you. So that's another good question to ask people, especially if you start doing more branding through video, because then you know, okay, like even though not a ton of people saw this, this wasn't one of my 100,000 views. Like this was a couple hundred views, right? But the people that took the time to watch a 27-minute video, like clearly wanted to get to know me. And um, so yeah, so don't get discouraged if you don't get crazy views right off the bat. But to increase your views, here's some tricks for engaging content. So first part, so seconds 1 to 3 is the hook, right? Some people say 1 to 5, but like it's the catch their attention. So the hook, then the substance, which is the meat and potatoes, and then the payoff. So that's the call to action. So message me for more information, click to download, follow and comment, send me a DM. Next, you got to engage with your audience. So when they comment or post, you need to respond. One, because then they're gonna start seeing your content more, which is good. Because if they're the type of person that's gonna like and comment, then you want them to continue to see your stuff. And the biggest thing I would say, like when you're creating content, ask yourself like these questions. So, does it represent who I am? Does it market the home I'm selling if it's a listing video? Does it help anyone? Does this teach someone something? Is this good for my brand? Is this going to attract clients? So if the answer is yes to any of those, that's probably a good video. I did this. I was at EXP Canada, and I hosted a seminar there. And one of the people that I was on the panel with, she had an Instagram video that got her 2 million views, but it's like her with an umbrella and had nothing to do with real estate. But she was following a trend, and I asked her, I was like, "Did you get any clients from it?" She's like, "No, but I had a video that I had 400 views on that I got 2 buyers out of," and we laughed about it, and I was like, "That's the same for me. Like some of my videos get tons of engagement and get me clients, but some of my most effective for clients videos, they answered one of the questions I just asked you, and they had value. So people then were like, I want this person. So next, if you want to get into video, this is just a couple tips. So I use Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve. These are professional video editing softwares. You don't need to use those. CapCut is easiest and it's free, and it does captioning really well, which is nice because you don't have to write out. So in 2018, when I was creating these videos, I had to write each word, and like it was a nightmare, right? Now you can make a video like quick on your phone. So I would use CapCut. You don't necessarily have to learn video editing though. So if this is scaring you and you're like, I'm done, I'm not doing video editing. The funny thing is I don't do this because I like to do high quality video. But the funny thing is TikTok algorithm, Instagram algorithm actually likes when you film from their native app. So technically, like you just hitting record on the Instagram app and filming yourself and then doing it straight from there should get you a better organic reach anyways. So if you don't want to do editing, just practice and do it straight from the app. And honestly, like that might be the vibe and might be your brand. So if you are interested in doing high quality video and you do want some tips on that, I was talking to Spencer and Towner about it. But if you want to get into that and you want to spend $1,000 or less, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 with the DJI mic. So like the creator pack, I'm pretty sure is under $1,000. It's got a gimbal on it, so that makes the footage really smooth. It's good quality, and the mic. So I'm using the mic right now, and I have it synced to my laptop. So it's got Bluetooth, but it also just syncs to your camera. So you get great audio. And if I could buy one camera and I didn't want to spend a ton of money, I'd get that because it can fit in your pocket. I use the A7S III, which is Sony, and the ZVE1. I use the A7S III a lot, but the ZVE1 is better for people that are getting into it. It has AI stuff, so you can literally just hit AI scene select, and it will do the white balance, adjust the aperture, the ISO. And for the people that are like, I have no idea what that is, then get the ZVE1 if you want to spend $3,000 to $5,000, because it's going to be $3,000 plus lenses. But honestly, any of like the major brands in the $3,000 to $5,000 range is going to make amazing video, but it's a little bit of an overkill for Instagram. But if you're doing YouTube and you want to do 4K, it's worth it, because you can tell the difference. But I'm going to leave you with this. So we have a couple minutes.
So
Honestly,
your
like
your video's off again. If you want to leave us
oh,
with something with your video on, there we go. Also, you need to get that photo changed to one of your fancy jackets, FYI.
I know.
Like, that's not you, man. Come on.
I know.
You're good. You're on now. You're on.
It's my old photo.
We can see it.
Okay. I know, but that's the one downside of using a camera, right? An actual camera, is it doesn't connect the same way, right? So, but I like the quality better.
Oh, there you go. You're on. You're good to go. You look good.
Okay. So, yeah, so I'm going to leave you with this. I judge my social media and online branding by how do people talk to me in person. So I'm going to say that again. Like, we're in the business of people, and people need places to live. We help them buy and sell those places. And so how people talk to me about what I'm posting online in person is how I judge my brand and marketing and whether or not it's working, not whether or not I get 400 likes, or if I get, 100,000 views. Like I'm more concerned with, are people relating to what I'm doing? So congratulations. You've completed the course building your realtor brand through social media. Your diplomas are in the mail, and you can all add BYRBTSM as letters after your name and your email. So congrats.
Thanks, buddy. That was good. Before we head off, I'm sure there's some questions too. I know Jennifer has her hand up, so if you would mind answering a couple of questions. Jen, do you want to jump on?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one thing I struggle with. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm licensed in 3 different states and mostly do a lot of my business in North Dakota. That's where I was born and raised. I just moved to San Antonio less than a year ago. No family, no sphere, but I've been doing all the things here. But what I struggle with most is in North Dakota, the average sales price for a home is like right around $275,000. And where I live, where I was living. And here, like I'm trying to break out into the luxury market. And I've been trying to do that here, but I'm all on just one Instagram page, one Facebook page. And I feel like everything that I post here is irrelevant to those in North Dakota, and everything from North Dakota is irrelevant to them here. And I'm so torn because I have people say like, that's not you, Jen. Like, I don't know why you're posting that. Like, why are you doing this? But I'm also trying to attract a certain, it's just, I'm all over the place. I don't know what to do because just like what you said, if I'm trying to break out into the luxury market here and I'm posting $300,000-$400,000 homes from North Dakota, but also I need to show that I'm still relevant there because it's a big part of my business is still in North Dakota. So do I need two separate Instagram pages? I can barely handle what I have right now. So I'm just looking for some advice or maybe some perspective on what that looks like, if you have any.
Sure, yeah. So you could create two, and I think if I were you, I would, because you would have your North Dakota. So Jennifer Smith, North Dakota Realtor, and then Jennifer Smith. Sorry, what was the second market?
Texas?
Yeah, Texas Realtor, right? So, and then you can brand yourself both ways because in general, um, so I went, I'm doing a listing next week in Guelph. And when I met them the first time, they said that they almost didn't call me because I was a Waterloo realtor. Um, for perspective, it's 20 minutes away. So like you're talking different states, right? So
Mhm.
they chose to hire me, which is great. But you know their perception of me was that I was Waterloo region, even though I've done things an hour away. One of my most successful videos was in Mount Bridges, which is north of London, right? Like that market loved me for some reason. But the point is by branding yourself, you can then brand yourself luxury in Texas, and you can do your branding around the luxury stuff and build that up, and then you can build your branding still in your other market. But I definitely would keep them separate.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions? Santos, do you have any
Scott, that
questions?
no one, Scottie.
What?
Alan?
I have one. Yeah.
Oh,
So when you're going through the archetypes and making that selection, what do you think's a good exercise for people to go through to help them decide on one? Is there something that you went through to help figure that out? Because I think maybe that's something where people hear all those, they see, oh, I'm that or I'm that, because they all sound so good. What
yeah.
helped you decide on which one was going to be your main? And then obviously there's some secondary ones in there that are naturally going to flow into it. But how did you decide on what's your main? And how do you think that can translate to other people to help them decide?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of the concept of sometimes you don't know your own strengths. And what I mean by that is like the people that know you best tend to know. There's some people that have all the confidence in the world, right? Like I'm not that person. I might sound like I am sometimes, but like I, for me, a lot of times I don't know I'm good at something until someone tells me I'm good at it. Um, and where I'm going with that is like writing out the different archetypes of kind of like what you want to be known for, and then talking to them about, with your clients and say like, what do you think I fall under? And again, I'm not talking about random person you helped buy a house. Like we all have clients that have become like family to us, and really care about us and our business. Like those are the types of clients I would be like, hey, I'm going to start doing more branding. I'm going to start, what do you feel like were my biggest strengths? That would be one. Then I would also write out all the things I'm good at, and then I'd ask people what I'm good at, and I'd take that list and I'd try to match it into like what type of archetype it would that is best reflective of. But then also, once that was done, I would then think to myself, is this how I want to brand myself? Right. So you might decide, you might be like, okay, I clearly am the expert. So, and then you might be like, I don't want to do that. Right. Like that's not the thing I want to focus on. I'd rather focus on this, but at least you'll know what you're naturally kind of fall under. And then that can become like your secondary and you can focus on the one that you really want to. Does that answer your question?
So I think that's great advice. And looking for that outside perspective, I think would probably help people that are struggling. So going to their sphere of influence and saying, okay, here's what I'm thinking, here's how I'm positioning myself, and getting that honest feedback from people you trust. I think that
Yeah.
that's a great way to help figure it out.
Yeah. Cool.
Amazing.
Any other questions? Was that beneficial?
Brian has his hand up. Brian Santos. What's up, Brian?
Yeah, like Scott, nailed this presentation. So good, so funny, and I love hearing from you because I really appreciate what you do. And it's so cool being out with you in public. Even like a few weeks ago at an event, and saw you there with your family, and everyone knows you right away just through your brand and who you are. And it's working so well for you, and I can't be more proud. And why it works, I just think you mentioned just being authentic. It's you, and it's great how you can lean into it though too. And I've enjoyed some of the lines you've had here, so I've learned quite a bit. I was actually going to throw Alan here on the spot as well, because Alan's been doing a really good job with his social media as of late. Before you were a bit quiet, now you've been posting a lot more. Wondering if you've had any immediate feedback or returns from that, Alan. I think you're doing a really good job with it. So it's kind of like an encouragement and a question there for Alan if he's up for it.
For sure. So yeah, this kind of goes back to one thing Scott said about being an undercover agent, right? Where I'm pretty well known in the community for my community involvement and what I do. And a lot of times when people see me, they're like, hey, it's Mr. Oktoberfest, right? And that was because I wasn't doing a good enough job with my branding as a realtor. And that's where I finally made the decision to start using social media. And that's really helped me establish myself as a realtor in people's eyes as well. So now, yes, people will still ask me about Oktoberfest, but then they're also asking, how's the market? Like I ran into the mayor of Kitchener the other day when I was filming one of my videos that will come out today. And so he starts with Oktoberfest, but the very next question is, how's the market? Versus in the past, I don't think that would have been the case, because he just would have known me as the Oktoberfest guy. Right. So I think it does make a big difference in how people view you and how they position you in your mind. And when you consistently are delivering information to people and showing yourself as that expert, showing that I'm doing business, showing that I know my stuff when it comes to the market has really made a difference in that. And I'm noticing it in my interactions in person. Like Scott says, it's a great way to really measure it is how you interact with people in person and the questions they ask you and how they respond, right? Like it's going to take a while and I have to be consistent with it to get to the level that I am for what I'm known for Oktoberfest, but I feel like it's in the right direction and it's definitely getting there.
For the record, before I started getting to know you, Alan, the last probably 12 months, I knew you as the Oktoberfest guy. I really did, and that was my perception of you. And you have been doing a great job with video lately, and it is standing out, and it's very relevant. And there's no doubt you're going to get business from that for sure in the future.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Listen, Scottie, appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping on. That was honestly one of the best presentations we've had in a while for sure. Lots of valuable information we can take back and implement into our business. As always, I'm going to put this video right into our Facebook group, the Real Estate Collective. I'll send it to you as well. I also have notes, and I'm going to go through it. I have it transcribed, but I'm going to go through them again and really pull out the nuggets right from that as well too, that I'll be able to share into the group too, so people can take it back to the business and really start working on their brand and what they're going to do with it. So appreciate you, man. Thank you for that. You're the man. All right, guys. Have an awesome week. If you need anything from us, we're here. Cheers.